Hello students, welcome to BTech 360. All of us, you students, obviously want to get into the IITs, NITs and IIITs and GFTIs also, and that's a very good option for all of you. But besides that, there are some national institutions which really do well, and many of them are far better than the second half of IITs and NITs and IIITs and GFTIs also. All of you obviously would apply for a BITS examination or a Manipal examination or a VIT examination and SRM examination and Amrita examination, right? And what I'm going to discuss now is one of those national institutions which has multiple campuses across the country and has been doing very good service over the years. It's not just for last year or anything. They've been there for many years and have been doing very good student outcomes. And the university I'm about to talk about is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, which is based out of Coimbatore but has 10 campuses around the country. Amrita has been ranked consistently across the many years, about 9-10 years, to be one of the best private universities in the country. It's between rank 1 or 2 as far as NRF ranking is concerned, which is Government of India ranking, in terms of the private universities that you have in the country. And it also has campus across the country, which essentially means that you have an opportunity of studying in any campus based on geographical location that you prefer. What I'm going to talk to you right now is why should you consider Amrita as a good option and keep it as a good option for yourself. Of course, if you get into IITs and NITs, please go join there. Of course, you get into some of the better institutions that you have in the country, please go and join there. But keep Amrita as a decent option for you, because I have known for a long time that a lot of students don't even get to, have a plan B, and if the IITs and NITs don't come in, they don't know what to do, and then they fall into the worst option possible. And it is very important for you to actually keep this 5-6 examination that I spoke about as an option that you must just keep it, apply for it, appear for the examination, keep the scorecard with you. If you don't want to use it, don't use it at some point in time. But keep that option open. At an application stage, you don't give up that option, because ultimately you decide where to join in after you get all your admission letters in your hand and not at the application stage. And I'll also tell you at this point in time of what Amrita is, what kind of exam that they have, what kind of placements that they have, and what kind of companies that come for placement and those kind of things, so that you keep working towards having a decent option for yourself at some point in time. Right. So we're talking of the Amrita University, which is called Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, campus selection process, eligibility criteria, and the placements that you have. Right. Now, what are the campuses that Amrita has? Of course, Coimbatore is the main campus that they have, and a lot of students prefer that. But a lot of students also increasingly are looking at other options because they want to study. For example, students in Uttar Pradesh can join the Faridabad and Haridwar campus. And by the way, the fee structure also of some of these campuses is different as compared to Coimbatore. So that is something that you must keep in mind, because I think the fee structure in Haridwar and Faridabad is far lesser, almost half or even less than half of what you have in the Coimbatore campus. But the name of Amrita is still there with you, which means that you actually have a qualification coming from a university which is right up there. Right. As I told you, it is possibly the first or second best ranked university in the country, private university in the country by NRF, which is Government of India. It is also ranked by QS, by THE, all the world rankings it has. They do rank Amrita as one of the better universities out there. Right. Then you have one in Amritapuri. Right, you have one in Chennai. Now, one of the things that you must realize when you're looking at Amrita campus is they opened a campus everywhere there is a software, professionals need of the country. So they have one in Chennai, they have one in Amravati, they have one in Mysore, one in Bangalore, and then Kochi, of course, and Nagarkoil, Amrita Haridwar. This has been an acquisition of a college, Nagarkoil, and Amrita Faridabad. By the way, Amrita Faridabad, if you look at the Amrita Medical College in Faridabad, it's one of the largest hospitals that you have in the country and possibly in Asia also. About 2,500 bedded hospital is what they opened up. The Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, actually opened that hospital also. So the reach of this university is such that right from companies to everything that you have, it's been there for a long time, and the credibility is such that even the Prime Minister of India actually went to launch the hospital, or rather open the hospital also, right? And that is in Faridabad, where they also have a BTech program. So right now we're confining ourselves to the BTech program, and we should just stick with that at this point, right? Now, what do you have? If you look at the ranking of Amrita, this was of course opened in 2003, so it's 23 years old. It's a deemed private university. The campus size, which is Coimbatore, is about 400 acres. We're only talking of Coimbatore. Now we also have the Kochi and Mysore and all. Those are all separate campuses. But the main campus is 400 acres. Total student strength is about 14,045, of which boys are 75% and girls are 25%. And by the way, the campus is so beautiful. I've been there a few times. It is on the foothills of you actually see peacocks and deer and all in the campus. That's how beautiful it is, right? About 68% come from outside the state and about 30% from within the state. Now, obviously, this happens typically because university is so in demand that aspirationally, a lot of students from around the country also want to come and study here. And only 30% are from the state of Tamil Nadu and 67-68% are coming from outside the state of Tamil Nadu, which is a very good thing, right? And about 427 students come from outside the country also. That again happens when your college is so aspirational that students from outside the country also want to come and study at your campus, which is what is happening here. And the faculty is about 1,077, which means that for every 13 students, you actually have a faculty member. So that's the kind of nature of the institution that we are, right? Now, when you look at the placement, 94% placement, 93% placement, earlier it was 100% also, right, at 7.75 lakh. When you actually, because the admitted is 2,634, we're talking of the 23-24 data. These, by the way, the Government of India data, which is from NRA, which is the Government of India data. When you actually are recruiting students at scale, which is what the numbers are if you see here, and still are able to achieve that kind of a median salary, it is extremely good, right? Because you're actually dealing with 2,634 students admitted 4 years back and graduating in 23-24, and all the 100% graduated happened. The placement is 1,879. About 620 students opted for higher studies, which means they want to go for masters and those kind of things, which means 93.44% placement and 7.75 lakh rupees is the median salary. When you have that kind of number, in the sense that you actually have about close to 1,900 students getting placed, and the median salary is 7.75 lakh rupees, it is very good again, right? Which is what is happening here. And by the way, this has been consistent across the board. Last year it was 100%, before that it was 90%, and the median salary has been increasing also, if you notice very carefully. How can you get into Amrita University? Of course, they have an examination called AEEE. Now, one thing I'll tell you, AEEE is the examination for you to get into Amrita, but they also take a parallel track through JEE also. So you can also be a JEE aspirant using the JEE score, apply to Amrita and then get into the whole thing. But only the AEEE students get a scholarship, possibility. Which is where I would suggest that you must apply for the AEEE if you want to, get a scholarship also, because they do have attractive scholarships. What are the campuses? I told you Amritapuri, Amravati, Bengaluru, Chennai, Coimbatore, Faridabad, Kochi, Mysuru and Nagarkoil. Right. So they actually have about 9 campuses where the BTech program is being offered. Right. And now they also added Haridwar. So these are 10th campus that they have added. And the campus from Haridwar, the new campuses, Haridwar, Faridabad and all, the fee is very less. So, if you're looking at doing BTech in a decent university, in a good university rather, more than decent, it is more than decent in that sense, and you have decent, options, this is a very good option for, especially for students in the north of India, to apply for the Faridabad and Haridwar campus also. While the students from south of India, a lot of them go to Coimbatore, Mysore, Chennai and Bangalore and all. This is a very good option. And even in the students of Amravati, you actually have 3-4 campuses out there. You have SRM University, VIT University and all. And Amravati is becoming a bigger, very good option also. In fact, the, Amravati is spread over 150 acres of land. In Amrita campus in Amravati is 150 acres of land, right? So you have a fantastic campus there. In all, the total applications is about 79,000 applications is what you have. 2 years back, the data when we looked at it, and about 9,500-10,000 seats is what they have. The reason why we're talking of this is because when you have so many seats, you have a better shot at getting into one of those campuses in a course of your choice. Right? The larger the intake, the better your chance of getting into a course of your choice. And especially when you actually have multiple branches and multiple campuses, then you can actually get a course of your choice and a campus of your choice also. That's the hope out here, which is where I would always recommend that keep this as a very good option and work on it. It's 2 hours 30 minutes is the thing, which is essentially what you have for any other examination also. 100 questions, 300 marks, all are MCQs. So it becomes so much more easier for you. 3 marks for the right answer and -1 mark for the wrong answer, right? And what are the subjects? Maths, physics, chemistry, quants and English. So it is typical to any other thing. So you don't need to prepare for these examinations separately. If you're preparing for any other national examination, which is JEE or anything like that, just use the same thing and come here. You're likely to be scoring very well and then getting through it and hopefully having a scholarship also. And once you get admission, it is then you decide whether you want to access this option or some other option. But My recommendation always is don't go for a brand name, go for always the kind of course that you're getting and the branch that you're getting and the campus you're getting. Because I know for a fact that a lot of IITs at the bottom half are not doing too well, a lot of NITs at the bottom half are not doing too well, and there are some private colleges which are doing far well. In fact, I am going to do a list of these colleges at some point in time, and we'll also tell you about those things as we move along. Right now, what is the examination at this point in time? This phase 1 is already done. So we are only dealing with the phase 2. It is right now the registration for phase 2 of AEEE is ongoing. The last date for application is 15th April 26. The AEEE slot booking is 2nd week of April, and 24th April is the examination date, 24th to 30th April. Home proctored, remote, remember. So you can take your examination from your home, and then the result would be announced later after 30th of April. But you can take the examination between 24th April to 30th April. Remember, JEE examination is ending on 9th of April. So you actually can decide after you apply whether you want to go through it or not. But the application deadline is 15th of April. Now, what are the scholarships? Scholarships are up to 75% are available to AEEE JEE mains qualifying students for all branches of BTech programs, right? And this is based on the admission exam rank, AEEE or JEE main. So I'm sorry, earlier I said that, JEE main only AEEE gets scholarship. You can actually get it through JEE mains also, the scholarship, right? The scholarship is awarded depending on the cumulative. So the first year is anyway awarded, but later on you need to keep maintaining your CGPA for you to continue that scholarship, and it goes up to 75% of the tuition fees. Now, what are the companies that come for placement here? The best of the companies, because it's been there for a long time. It's been doing very good service. The students of Amrita are also all over the place in terms of the best tech companies and everything. They would be sitting in different companies and in very senior positions also. So they obviously would want to revisit their alma mater and start recruiting from there, which is why it happens that, Google, Juniper Networks, KLA Tencor, L&T, Mahindra, Mercedes-Benz, Microsoft, Nokia, Oracle, Philips, Reliance Power, Renault Nissan, Samsung, SAP, Siemens, Schlumberger, Swiggy, Synopsys, Tata Advanced Materials, Tata Elxsi, Toyota, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Tata Technologies, TCS, United Technologies, VMware, Volvo, Wipro, Amazon, Adani, Accenture, ABB, Apollo Hospitals, AstraZeneca, Bosch, Capgemini, IBM, Dell, Cognizant, Cisco. You look at it, manufacturing companies to software companies to technology companies to medical appliances companies to consulting companies. You actually have all kinds of companies going to Amrita for recruitment. So that is the reason why. And I keep saying this. Whenever you're dealing with a slightly older institution, of a reputed institution, this is bound to happen, because once you get placed from a particular college into a particular company, 15 years down the line when you're in power, you typically want to come back, visit your alma mater and start recruiting from there, because you want to pay back. And that's a payback typically that happens in these kind of institutions. We also looked at LinkedIn to understand the kind of data that we have of how those alumni of Amrita are working, and we found 58,000 students on LinkedIn who claimed that they studied at Amrita BTech. And when we looked at 58,000 students, as of now, as you sit now, about 30 students are working in Amazon, 285 students are working in Deloitte, Microsoft 94 students right now are working, Intel 108 were working. At some point in time, 937 students had worked at Amazon from this 58,000, 558 students worked at Deloitte, 525 students worked at Microsoft, Intel 318 students. And this would happen only when the campus placement happens, because otherwise such large number of students working in those companies at some point in time would not happen unless those companies actually visited the campus for placement, right? And then similarly, the bigger companies, what we call the MAANG companies, which are the trillion-dollar companies that we have in the world, who are the Meta, Apple, Nvidia and all. When we look at that, even there, quite a few of these students are working. Like in Meta, 18 students are working right now. And at some point in time, 74 students at some point worked at Meta. Similarly, at Apple, 17 students worked at Apple. Right now, 44 students are working in Apple. Amazon, 937 students worked at some point in Amazon. Right now, 302 students are working. Nvidia, 49 worked at some point in time. 28 right now who studied at Amrita are working there. Google, 487 students worked, and right now 67 students are working. So the skill set that you learn at Amrita is such that you're able to, some of these companies may not have gone there to the campus for placement. You find yourself having got that job because of your skill set and the learning that you had at Amrita, and that obviously has some kind of a, success rate in terms of an Amrita student going to some other company but finding their job into the best companies in the world also is happening. Even if the campus placement for some of these companies may not. For example, NVIDIA, I don't know whether the campus placement happens, but students did find their way into working at NVIDIA at some over a period of time, right? And then most importantly, when I looked at this data, this is very stunning for me. 82% of the students are working in India, which means 18% of Amrita alumni is working world over. Now, this is a very good benchmark for you. When your student skill sets are such that you get onto a company, then find jobs of actually growing within the company to occupy global positions, or find jobs globally because of this kind of skill sets and learning that you had at a university. This is a very good metric for me. 18% of students who studied at Amrita are not in India but working around the world. That's a very, very good data point for you to do. And besides that, 20% are in Karnataka, obviously because software capital of India is Karnataka, so you actually work there. Tamil Nadu is 19% and Kerala is about 24%, right? So, and then US is 6%, 3% is UAE, 2% is Canada. So you actually have students who studied at Amrita succeeding so much that they occupied the global positions, moved out of India and are also working anywhere. And besides that, within India also about 82% are working, of which Bangalore is about 20%, Tamil Nadu, Chennai is 19% and so on and so forth, right? And these are all good data sets that what we showed you. So my only submission to all of you is, prepare for whatever exam that you have, but at an application stage, don't remove any options. Add a few options so that you actually have a safety cushion of getting into the right college based on how you perform in different examinations. But keep this as a very good option, because it's a very good option at this point in time, because the university has been there for a long time. They've been doing very well. They've been ranking very well across all ranking. It can be the Government of India ranking, or even Career 360 ranking, or even the world rankings, which is THE and QS and those kind of things. They do very, very well in research. One of the most beautiful campuses that I have visited. They have multiple campuses where the fee structure is different. So if you are unable to pay a certain amount of fee, students from UP, it's very good. Haridwar, Faridabad and all, very good university, one of the best universities that you have in these parts of the world. And also the fees very, very nominal in that sense, especially in these kind of campuses, because they're new campuses. And it's as an organization, as Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, they're all over the country, and then most of the faculty also come from abroad. About 4% students come from outside of the country also. So to those kind of numbers you have, you must keep that as a good option. So apply to Amrita if you want to. Keep that option open. At an administration stage, you can deal with this whole situation, but at this point in time, apply to Amrita, right? Before I move further, 3 things that I always tell the students. The first thing is, please subscribe to Career 360 and like if you like this video. The second part of it is, if you want to talk to me personally, there's a WhatsApp number out here. Message me on this number and one of my counselors will call you up. And 3, if you want me to cover any other college besides Amrita right now that I'm doing, message me in this, in this thread, and we'll be happy to cover that for you. Thank you so much. Namaste.